This week has been historic for Bill Belichick. The Patriots dominated the headlines on the first 2 days of the NFL's legal tampering period. It's been a sight to see, and I'm ready to dive right into this thing. Now you may be thinking I'm about to lead into the Belichick-Brady narrative, as in Tom Brady just won the Super Bowl and thousands of people have begun to doubt Belichick's effect on the Patriots dynasty. And if you look at the comment section on some of my videos, then you'll know that's actually putting it lightly. To be honest with you, I thought about making this a Belichick revenge video where the Patriots empire is ready to strike back after Captain Brady defected from the dark side, but I figured that's just too easy of a story to tell. And although there is probably some truth to it all, with the biggest piece of evidence coming from Belichick's girlfriend going on Instagram and attempting to diminish Brady's influence on the Bucs' playoff run, this is still somewhat of a tired narrative. It's something we've already heard before. When we dive into the real reason behind Belichick's wild week and the Patriots' spending spree, it begins first with a simple outlook. The Belichick Patriots traditionally don't have this type of cap space. And on top of that, if they hypothetically would have this space, they would normally be dealing with several of their own top billing free agents that they would have to sign because they're normally coming off a deep playoff run. Like if you look at what the Bucs are doing right now coming off a Super Bowl win, they haven't brought in anyone new so far, but they have kept their core of stars together after having already re-signed Shaq Barrett, Levante David, Gronk, and Chris Godwin on the franchise tag. So this season, with the Patriots coming off a year where they went 7-9, there just isn't the same amount of talent leaving the team. And when they weren't competing for a championship, they were able to clean the books of void years and risk contracts that didn't work out. So now that we've got that opportunity laid out, there's another factor to consider. In a year where the salary cap dropped, there was a rare opening for a few teams. While most franchises were stuck in cap hell, Belichick had more space than he'd pretty much ever had before. And more importantly, there was less competition for free agents than ever before. So what does that mean? It means Belichick drops $50 million on Jonnu Smith, $56 million on Matt Judon, almost $50 million combined on Nelson Agholor and Kendrick Bourne, and tens of millions of dollars on several other pieces. It all added up to over $200 million in one single day. Then what happens the next day? They snag the other top tight end on the market with Hunter Henry. Now, some of these deals come off as a 13-year-old girl being handed her mom's credit card at the mall. And yes, I'll agree, there were some overpays, which Belichick is not known for in the slightest. So I tried to think about what in the world he was thinking. And I think the best answer is this. He has the cap space this year to bring in some guys who are in their primes. For the current market, these deals are above market rate, but most of these contracts are a decent length to the point where the new TV deals will redefine what the market value is. For a star player like Matt Judon or an up-and-coming player like Jonnu Smith, they could end up falling below their deserved value by the end of their contracts. Same theme with Hunter Henry. Belichick had done the same thing the last time he had cap space to play with, when he gave Stephon Gilmore a big contract at the time that is now below market value. The thing is, Gilmore also grew into a Defensive Player of the Year in that time, so obviously that can't be expected for everyone, but boy, Belichick is kind of operating like that is gonna happen. With the money he's giving Smith or Nelson Agholor, it seems he believes he will be getting their best years out of them. Still, none of this seems like the Belichick we've all grown to, well, I guess for most fans, hate. Bill doesn't seem to be operating with a carefully frugal 10-year plan anymore. Even with a dramatic cap space change as an excuse for such spending, Belichick is suddenly going for broke. The team that normally gets all the praise for winning free agency on the first day is typically run by a first-year GM or a GM on the hot seat. Now, I don't think Robert Kraft is putting Belichick on the hot seat after one bad year, but I think Bill himself, just like a GM on the hot seat, knows there isn't much time left. At 68 years old, he's not going to be working these insane hours for another decade. There's no longer a 10-year plan. This is it for Belichick. Ironically, Tom Brady realized the same thing last year. The Patriots weren't ready to win in 2020, but he was. And he did. He only has so much time left, so he needed to make the most of it. His solution was a dramatic and risky move to Tampa. Bill Belichick is entering the final leg of his race. And now it's his turn for a risky move. When you pair an aging Belichick, even by coaching standards, with an ultra-competitive Belichick being doubted more than he's ever been in 2 decades, this is what you get. It doesn't necessarily feel like the smart, methodical approach we've gotten used to seeing in New England. I mean, ironically, if anything, it feels like a no-risk-it, no-biscuit approach. The approach Bruce Arians, Jason Light, and the Bucs maneuvered to get Tom Brady and a championship team around him. Belichick has put together some key pieces. He wasn't going to get outbid and lose out on players he really wants like he has in years past. The team has suitable pass catchers and a much improved front seven, especially when you consider the return of Dante Hightower. Add that along with a good rushing attack and one of the best secondaries in the league, and things are looking good. But still, it's missing the key piece that makes such a risky play work. It's missing a Tom Brady, or even a respectable answer to Tom Brady. The return of Cam Newton was met with grieving in New England, because before all these high-risk contender-like moves were put into action, the soon-to-be 32-year-old Newton formula meant only one answer. And that answer, the season's result, ends in defeat. The Patriots still need an upgrade at quarterback if they want to find the solution to this Tom Brady problem, and if they want to win a championship. If Monday was any indication, it's that Belichick wants to win now. He was stockpiling weapons like he had a Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, or what the Saints did with Drew Brees in his final years. Belichick was willing to take last year as a loss in order to clean the books. He pretty much admitted that himself. But now he's operating like he knows he'll have someone behind center, ready to take this team into the playoffs. It's almost like we should expect a move, whether that's a trade up in the draft or trade for a veteran needing a new home. Belichick is rarely willing to give up multiple high-round assets, but he's also rarely been willing to spend like this. Circumstances have obviously changed, things like the cap, but maybe the biggest reason for this aggressiveness is Belichick's new short-term plan. We are now in the Belichick endgame.